Psychological selection. You are not just attracted to people. You are attracted to emotional experiences that feel familiar to your nervous system, and familiarity feels like chemistry. That is where most people get it wrong. You think you're choosing a person. In reality, you're choosing a feeling. The intensity, the tension, the unpredictability, the validation, the chase, the emotional distance, the rescue fantasy, the instability. Whatever it is, it feels known. And what feels known feels safe. Even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts in a way you recognize. Your nervous system does not define love as healthy. It defines love as familiar. If you grew up earning affection, you will be drawn to people who are emotionally withholding. If you grew up feeling unseen, you will be drawn to people who make you prove yourself. If you grew up in chaos, calm will feel boring. If you grew up in emotional inconsistency, stability will feel suspicious. You are not choosing consciously. You are gravitating toward emotional resonance. And resonance does not mean compatibility. It means recognition. Let's go deeper. When you meet someone new, your brain is scanning for alignment with your internal blueprint. That blueprint was built early. It was shaped by caregivers, early relationships, emotional environment, and repeated dynamics. Your brain formed a model of what connection feels like, not what it should be, what it is. If connection felt uncertain, your body learned to associate uncertainty with intimacy. If affection was conditional, your body learned to associate effort with love. If validation was rare, your body learned to associate intensity with value. So when someone stable, emotionally available, and calm shows up, your system doesn't light up. It feels neutral, and neutral feels wrong. You interpret calm as lack of chemistry. You interpret stability as lack of spark. You interpret safety as boredom. Because your system was calibrated differently. You are not broken. You are patterned. The second layer is identity reinforcement. You do not just choose people who match your past. You choose people who confirm your self-concept. If deep down you believe you are too much, you will choose someone who treats you that way. If you believe you must prove your worth, you will choose someone who withholds reassurance. If you believe love requires struggle, you will find struggle. Because your mind prefers coherence, even painful coherence. If someone treats you in a way that contradicts your internal narrative, it creates dissonance. And dissonance is uncomfortable. So you gravitate toward confirmation. This is not weakness. This is psychological equilibrium. You are trying to maintain a stable identity. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Sometimes you choose the same type because it protects you. Healthy love requires vulnerability without chaos. And that feels terrifying. If you choose someone emotionally unavailable, you can stay in pursuit mode. Pursuit mode is familiar. It keeps you slightly guarded. It keeps you activated. It keeps you focused on winning affection instead of exposing your own needs. If you choose someone unstable, you never have to sit in stillness. You never have to confront your own fears of intimacy. You stay busy managing the relationship. Management feels productive, but it is avoidance. Real intimacy means being seen without performance. And performance has been your survival strategy. So you choose partners who require performance, because that is where you feel competent. There is also the addiction factor. Unpredictable reinforcement is neurologically powerful. When affection is inconsistent, dopamine spikes become stronger. Intermittent validation creates craving. Craving feels like passion. But passion built on instability is not love. It is chemical turbulence. Your brain confuses intensity with depth. So when you meet someone steady, your body does not spike. And without spikes, you think something is missing. You say, "There's no spark." But what you actually mean is, "There's no chaos." This is where patterns become self-fulfilling. You chase the high. You endure the lows. You call it connection. And when it collapses, you say, "Why does this keep happening to me?" Because your system equates volatility with intimacy. Now let's talk about the rescue pattern. Some people repeatedly choose broken partners, not because they enjoy pain, but because being needed feels safe. If you can fix someone, you remain in control. If you can help someone heal, you avoid examining your own wounds. Being the stable one protects you from being the vulnerable one. So you pick people who require saving. You call it compassion. But sometimes it is control disguised as care. If you choose someone who needs you more than you need them, you reduce the risk of abandonment, because the imbalance favors you. But imbalance is not intimacy. It is dependency. And dependency eventually suffocates connection. There is another layer. Fear of being fully known. When you pick someone who cannot meet you emotionally, you never have to show your full depth. You can blame their limitations. You can say, "They just don't get me." But what if someone did get you? What if someone saw you clearly? That level of exposure feels dangerous if you grew up guarding yourself. So you subconsciously choose people who cannot fully access you. It feels safer. Less risk of real rejection. Now here's the part that changes everything. You will keep choosing the same type until you redefine what safety feels like. Not intellectually, physiologically. You can read every relationship book in the world. But if your nervous system still equates chaos with connection, you will repeat the loop. So what breaks the pattern? First, awareness without denial. Stop saying you have bad luck. Start identifying the recurring traits. Are they emotionally distant, unstable, overly dependent, avoidant, controlling, unavailable, charming but inconsistent? The pattern is not random. Write it down. Second, examine the emotional experience you feel early on. Do you feel anxious, excited but uncertain, compelled to prove yourself, drawn to intensity? If the early stage feels like adrenaline, pause. Healthy connection feels grounded, not explosive. Third, confront the payoff. What does this type give you? Does it allow you to stay in pursuit mode? Does it allow you to avoid vulnerability? Does it confirm your self-image? Does it create drama that distracts you from yourself? Every pattern has a reward, even painful ones. Fourth, tolerate discomfort when choosing differently. When you meet someone emotionally stable, your system may feel bored. Do not confuse calm with incompatibility immediately. Sit with it. Let your nervous system recalibrate. Growth feels foreign at first, because foreign is unfamiliar, and unfamiliar is interpreted as unsafe. But sometimes, unfamiliar is just new. Here is something most people will not admit. If you changed your pattern, your identity would shift. You might no longer be the one who always dates the wrong people. You might no longer be the fixer. You might no longer be the misunderstood one. And losing that identity can feel destabilizing. So you return to what you know. Because what you know confirms who you think you are, but you are not your pattern. You are repeating your pattern. That is different. Let's go even deeper. Sometimes you are choosing based on unresolved emotion. If you did not receive something in childhood, you try to recreate the scenario to win it now. If you felt unseen, you date someone who doesn't see you, hoping this time they will. If you felt abandoned, you date someone inconsistent, hoping this time they will stay. You are not crazy. You are replaying. Your mind believes that if it can change the ending, it will finally heal the wound. But it rarely works that way. You cannot heal old rejection by chasing new rejection. You cannot heal neglect by tolerating more neglect. You cannot heal instability by recreating it. Healing requires stepping outside the pattern, and stepping outside the pattern feels like stepping outside yourself, which is why most people don't do it. They stay in what feels familiar, even when familiar hurts. Now listen carefully. The goal is not to eliminate chemistry. The goal is to redefine it. Chemistry that destabilizes you is not chemistry you need. It is chemistry your nervous system recognizes. Healthy chemistry feels steady. It builds gradually. It does not hijack your thinking. It does not create obsession. It does not make you question your worth. It feels clear. Clear often feels quieter. And quiet often feels less exciting at first, but excitement fades. Stability builds. You keep choosing the same type because your system is seeking coherence. But coherence based on past wounds will not build a future you want. So here is the decision. Do you want familiar intensity or unfamiliar stability? Do you want adrenaline or alignment? Do you want to repeat or evolve? Evolution requires tolerating emotional discomfort at the beginning. It requires sitting with calm without sabotaging it. It requires letting go of the fantasy that chaos equals depth. It requires questioning your immediate attraction instead of trusting it blindly. This is not about blaming yourself. It is about recognizing your blueprint. And blueprints can be redesigned. But only when you stop romanticizing your pattern. You are not doomed. You are conditioned. And conditioning can change. The moment you notice yourself drawn to the familiar dynamic, pause. Ask yourself, is this attraction or recognition? Am I choosing them or replaying something? Does this feel safe because it is healthy or safe because it is known? That pause interrupts repetition. And interruption creates space. In that space, you choose differently. And choosing differently rewires identity. You deserve connection that does not activate your survival patterns. You deserve intimacy that does not require performance. You deserve calm that does not feel suspicious. But first, you have to let go of the belief that chaos is love, because the type you keep choosing is not random. It is reflecting you. And when you change, the reflection changes.